This is WEBcode.run, the fastest way to develop custom HTTP endpoints. And I've become very frustrated with the speed of cloud development. Everything feels very sluggish. So I built this service to say, listen, let's just speed it up. Let's make it as fast as possible. I want to be able to deploy custom code instantly. And this demonstration, I'm going to show you that, yes, we've genuinely reached instant deploys. So WEBcode.run's built on the observable platform, which is like a spreadsheet that reactively recomputes cells. And on the landing page, we have this this demo of how WEBcode.run enables reactive endpoint development workflows. And I'll show you exactly what that means. So this is a demonstration that WEBcode's live coding debugger is basically instant. If you're not familiar with observable, the result of one cell, if it changes, the dependent cells will update. So we start off by generating a random number called our nonce. And the next cell, this is where we do a web code deployment. We call the deploy SDK function and we pass in the handler. The handler is modeled after Express servers. If you're familiar with Node.js, you get a request and a response and you're expected to write the response back. For us, our response is very simple. We're going to just write the value of that nonce back. And the result of this whole cell is an endpoint object, and that endpoint object includes its web address. So at the moment, live coding is not disabled. It also responds with a UI, so you can set secrets and all kinds of things. But for this demo, we're going to be looking at how live coding makes these deployments immediately visible in your notebook. So live coding is not enabled at the moment. So let's enable it. Let's make sure the nonce is updated. And now when we click this, the current value of the nonce is 0.5. When we connect this, the response back is 0.5. And that's because it is serving the latest version of the nonce. Now what we're going to do later is we're going to put another dependency. We're going to automate this, checking that the nonce matches. In another cell, we're going to do a remote fetch. It's going to be based on the endpoint's URL. It's going to use the normal web fetch API, and it's going to print the text. So when we execute that, the value is 0.5. It matches the nonce. And this is a real network request, right? So if we look at the network panel and I recompute that, there's a real web fetch going across and its response is 0.5. Now, let's automate that. With the recompute nonce button, what I'm going to do is write a new random value into the nonce. So this number will update. Because this is dependent on that cell, this will do a redeploy. And because this remote fetch is dependent on the result of this cell, this remote fetch will be redone. So let's recompute the nonce. Boom. 0.22, and the remote fetch is 0.22. And we can see that really there was a web request that came out with 0.22. So they all match. And this had a network fetch. And look, every time we recompute the nonce, these two numbers match. You can see there's a very slight lagginess to this one. It's a little bit after because there is a real network fetch involved. But it's a super fast network fetch. And this is actually executing locally. So when live debugging is enabled, the requests that happen on the public endpoint are tunneled into the local session. So this is brilliant because now we can actually do clever things. We're actually intercepting this live. So we can set a debug breakpoint using normal production front-end development tools. We'll add the debugger here, and now we'll execute this, and our debugger's caught it, and it's paused it. And now we're in the REPL environment, and we can even change the response. So res.send, this is a synthetic response, right? And I execute that, unpause the debugger, And now look what's returned. The remote nonce is this is a synthetic response. So we can capture these this production traffic and interact with it live using production debugging tools. If we disabled live coding, now when we execute it, now when we refresh, it takes a little bit longer. It's booting up a Chrome instance remotely. 0.99 doesn't match anything. When we recompute the nonce, 0.09 does not match 0.66. We can close this now. We can refresh. This is a real HTTP endpoint. It's on the public internet. This is a web address that you can curl. We have just now live coded a HTTP endpoint, shown you how you can interact with it live. And this is the fastest way to develop. With live coding, changes are synced instantly. It works at the speed of observable data flow reevaluation. There's nothing faster. It's a partial recomputation. We're not even rebooting the whole program. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope this speeds up your development workflows and make the computer work for you. You know, why are we as programmers waiting on the computer to update? No, instant deploys, instant debugging, attach production debuggers to traffic. This is what serverless should be like. So I hope you enjoy. Get in touch if you need any help. Thank you.